The world's a dangerous place. Get the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. A laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way.
Broadcasting nationwide, this is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of gun talk. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN. That's 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Or reach out to us via email at tom@guntalk.com. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, here's Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you. 866-TALK-GUN. Get you in. Also, email tom@guntalk.com. Over on Twitter, @GunTalk. We've got a conversation going on, of course. Always over there. It's where you get your news about guns and gun rights. If you follow me at Twitter, I'm @GunTalk over there. You'll get regular updates on stories that are breaking, things that I just don't have time to cover everything. Even in the 3.5 hours we do here, including our after show on Gun Talk, there's just so much more that we can't get to. But you'll be in the know. In fact, you'll be probably the best informed person in your whole group, probably the best informed person at your shooting range or your club, if you're getting the news feed, if you will, from my Twitter feed, @GunTalk. Ah, man, we're coming up on election, 2014 and also 2016. Got a couple of them coming up. I love it. Hillary Clinton was at a town hall meeting. It's actually a campaign deal this week. She cannot leave gun owners alone. She always has ugly things to say about us. She said that we need to be reined in. She says, we're going to have to do a better job protecting citizens from that group that is unfortunately prone to violence with automatic weapons. Oh, really? Automatic weapons. The most restricted guns, almost to the point of being virtually non-existent, almost never showing up at crime scenes. It is just rare when a full automatic gun is found to be used in a crime. Certainly not in any of the mass shootings that we've heard of. None there. I love this about gun control. Hillary Clinton says, listen carefully to the words, we cannot let a minority of people, and that's what it is a minority of people, hold a viewpoint that terrorizes the majority of people. First, she calls you a terrorist because you hold a viewpoint about guns. So we cannot allow, she's not saying we can't allow people to terrorize. She's not saying we cannot allow people to assault. She says we cannot allow people to hold a viewpoint. Really? We're going to prevent you from having these thoughts. We will prevent you from even having this viewpoint that she says, your viewpoint terrorizes the majority of people. Of course, ignoring the fact that 100 million people in the country own guns. She says we have to rein in what has become an almost article of faith that anybody can necessarily have a gun anywhere, anytime. Of course, nobody I know of on the gun rights side of things says that anybody can own a gun anywhere at any time. Hyperbole, possibly. Lies, certainly. Which leads me to this, and I want to get this out before we take our calls. And don't go anywhere if you're on hold. We're going to get to you. There are not just a few, but a lot of gun owners out there who are hell-bent on re-electing Democrats and making sure that they retain control of the Senate. They don't know that's what they're doing. Or if they do, they don't care. But they're saying, I'm not going to vote for a moderate Republican when I can vote for a true Tea Party person who has not a chance in hell of winning. And in doing so, I will make sure to take votes away from the Republican who's running, who could defeat the Democrat, who could give the Republicans control of Congress, both houses, which would be at least an offset and a balance against President Obama's outrageous activities. But because I want to be pure, because I want to be certain, I want to thump my chest, I'm going to do something that actually guarantees a loss. We've seen it before. We've seen it again and again. I'm watching it right here in Louisiana right now. We've got an important Senate race going on. 3 people involved. The incumbent, Mary Landrieu, a Democrat. Bill Cassidy, Republican. And a more conservative, I'm just going to be very kind, a more conservative candidate, very staunch conservative Republican, who doesn't have a chance of winning. But he does take votes away from Bill Cassidy. So and this is the microcosm of what we get, is, well, you're not pure enough for me. I'm going to vote for the one that's very pure, really. Thus ensuring that the anti-gun Democrat stays in Congress. Sometimes you got to grow up. Sometimes you got to pull up your big boy pants. Sometimes you've got to actually look at it and say, you know, I don't get perfect this time, but I can go with good. Because if I vote for perfect and I insist on perfect and I get bad, that's called a loss, no matter how smug it makes you feel. You might want to just take a look at that in your local races. I want to get to line 4, Luke out of Anchorage, Alaska. Hello, Luke. What you looking for?
Hi, Tom. Thanks for taking my call. I'm looking at a Kimber Montana 84L and 30-06.
Okay.
It's the more I'm doing research on it, I'm reading mixed reviews, and I know reviews. Everyone's got one. Everyone's got an opinion. But I'm just wondering what my expectations should be if I were to purchase this gun, and out of the box, should I be expecting something to get it on target?
Well, we should expect good accuracy out of any rifle.
Right.
I mean, that's... Let me throw a thought out. I want to ask you a question. What's that rifle going to cost?
I can find one for about $1,200 up here, and that's why I'm concerned. I mean, it's an expensive gun.
Well, that's expensive, but it's not expensive. It's not a $3,000 gun. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to throw a thought out as an alternative to you. Just to have you ask, have you looked at the Nosler brand rifles?
No, I haven't.
Do yourself a favor, go to the Nosler website and look at their rifles. They've just actually reduced the price on them, and they have increased the output because they're just getting such a demand. Really beautiful rifles, very nice, with a minute of angle guarantee. And the Nosler folks know their rifles. In that, I think they're going to be in that same relative price range. I will tell you, I do not have much experience with the Kimber rifles for one particular reason. Is because I shoot left-handed, and they don't make left-handed rifles.
Right. Yep.
I have used them some, but not a lot.
Okay.
I guess, we're faced with, and you understand where I am. You're reading online reviews, and people post all sorts of stuff online, especially when they don't put their real name on it.
Yep.
And that way, anybody could say anything about anybody. And I am absolutely convinced that some of these negative reviews come from competition. Some of them come from people just because they can't make themselves feel important by saying something positive, but they can certainly feel important by saying something negative about somebody online.
Right.
And yet, sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. That's our problem, is how do we balance all that out? But I would throw this thought out, is look around. There are other really nice rifles out there. If you like the Kimber and you just want the Kimber, buy the Kimber. If you say, I'm just a little bit concerned, you're not locked in. You've got some really nice options. Even, things like Ruger has some very nice wood-stocked rifles, if that's where you want to go with the wood. Now, are you talking wood or synthetic?
No, I'm talking about the composite stock.
Okay. Lots and lots of options out there for that. So you got to figure out, what is it I'm looking for? Am I buying brand name, or am I buying performance? And just start poking around. But I would very much look at the Noslers. I would look at certainly the Winchesters, the Brownings, the Rugers, and just see which of those looks good and feels good to you. And at a certain point, to continue the metaphor, you got to pull the trigger on it and just buy something, man.
I know it's been a 3-month process, and I'm the problem is I've got one that works, and I'm looking for something just a little bit of an upgrade. But
I know what you mean, but take a look. Seriously, take a look at the Nosler rifles. They are very impressive. We've had a couple of them in recently. Holy cow, they shoot. They're very nice. So anyway, take a look at that. Listen, I appreciate the call. Got to take a quick break here. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN. That'll get you in. We are open lines. Give me a shout.
Hi, I'm Michael Bain. You know I hate cleaning guns, so anything that makes that job faster and easier is definitely a plus. And that's where Bore Tips come in. These reusable, lint-free cleaning swabs make cleaning a breeze. And the tighter-fitting Bore Tips do a better job on barrels than cotton mops or patches. Hey, it's a dirty job. Let Bore Tips help. To find a dealer, visit boretips.com.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
Hey everyone, I'm Doug Koenig, winner of more than 60 national and world shooting championships. You know what? I'm here to tell you that the only thing I like better than competitive matches with high-powered pistols and better than hunting big white-tailed deer is watching NRA Freedom Friday presented by Cheaper Than Dirt on the Pursuit Channel. It's true what they say. Pursuit Channel delivers the outdoors.
Successful hunters know big bucks move early and late, often when it's too dark for common scopes. When that monster steps out, you might see him through the scope, but the crosshairs disappear. All that work and you can't take the shot. But with the Trigicon AccuPoint scope, you'll get the shot. Its bright aiming point glows in daylight or darkness. No batteries needed. AccuPoint scopes are water-resistant and nitrogen-filled, feature multi-layer coated lenses for the brightest image, and you can adjust brightness of the aiming point to match the conditions. Adding 10 or 15 minutes to each end of the day can double the magic moments when the trophies move. You can't hit the target if you can't see the sights. Trigicon AccuPoint scopes. Check out the different models at Trigicon.com or call 1-800-338-0563. Brilliant aiming solutions from Trigicon.
Want to have some more fun after today's radio broadcast of Gun Talk? Stick around for the after show with Tom, Jim, Michelle, and Michael. Now, more Gun Talk.
Oh, we still have a lot of gun talking to do. You can call us. You can join us right now. 866-TALK-GUN. Get you in here. Line 1. Don's out of Tyler, Texas with some tips for us. Hey, Don.
I'm up next. Hey, how you doing, Tom?
I'm good. You are up next. In fact, you're on right now.
Okay. There's a man earlier talking about refinishing a double barrel, and he was talking about the wood, and about that time I went through an area where it was real high voltage interference. I wasn't really sure what you said, but it's been about 15 years ago or so. There was a pawn shop and gun dealer or gunsmith combination in Shreveport that I had been recommended to go to. And I had a Browning Auto 5 that the forearm was split right down the middle of the checkering.
Right.
And I mean, he made it look like it, never been cracked. Wow. And so I talked to him about it, and of course he was, one of these guys that didn't mind telling you what he was doing. Mm-hmm. And he said, "Well, the reason you see the crack is because of the oil and dirt has gotten in it. he said if you get that oil and dirt out, the crack goes away. I mean, the visibility of it goes away.
Huh.
So he soaked it in acetone, and depending on how much it was, how long it took.
Mm-hmm.
If it took 2 or 3 days, he'd take it out, and if it was, the dirt and the oil was gone, then he went back and he glued it, and then of course pressed it together, and then went back with his checkering tool or the area with those clean-out tools. Cleaned out all the glue and the checkering, refinished it, and it looked like a brand new stock.
Well, I'll be darned. I would not have thought of that. That's just one of those tricks that people get with a lot of experience, I guess.
Yeah. And like I say, I have done that, and I was into blue in there for a while, and I was, going to take the stuff to gun shows and sell them, and after I redid them, and, I did several of the, when I get into problems with the checkering, and, I bought my little checkering clean-up tools, and they come out real well.
Well, I'll be darned. Well, Don, that is good info. I appreciate that. I would never have thought of that. I love getting these tips from all our friends. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Let's go to Tom on line 2 out of Toledo Bend Creek in Texas. Hey, Tom.
Oh, hey, Tom. How you doing? This is Tom on T-Bend over here.
Yes, sir.
One of my carry guns that I really like is an XDM 40, and really like it. I don't care for the kind of triggers that come on them, so I put in a aftermarket trigger. Mm-hmm. Well, I read this article by Moss in the current issue of American Handgunner.
Masada Ayub. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he discusses the shooting with a police officer that was justified in Tomball, Texas in 2006. Mm-hmm. And although the shooting was justified, they still sued the department, and the department had to pay $250,000 because the cop had modified his service revolver with a 3.5-pound trigger, which was considerably better trigger than what came on the Glock.
Right.
And so, I've given it some thought before about my modifications, but I never really thought about it like I did once I read Moss's article in this magazine. So I guess I'm up a stump. I'm going to have to put back the old trigger in there that I don't like.
I don't know that I would do that. And here's Masad has one viewpoint. I think I just have a different viewpoint on this. And my attitude is this: if you do everything right, if you don't shoot the wrong person, if you don't shoot when you're not supposed to shoot, if everything else is justifiable and the shoot is good, then I think you can defend the use of putting a good, controllable trigger in. Now, if you shoot the wrong person or if it goes off at the wrong time, you got a problem, and having an aftermarket trigger could add to your problem. But if you do it all right, my personal viewpoint, not a lawyer, is that I think it's defensible. I mean, and you understand the deal. There's a very good chance you're going to get sued no matter what happens. So, if you do everything right and they pin a medal on you, you're probably still going to get sued. It's probably still going to cost you $100,000 to pull the trigger. That's the reality of where we are today. But that's why you would only pull the trigger if not doing so means you get dead. So $100,000 or $50,000 or whatever it costs you to defend yourself, that's the cost of staying alive. So I would, what I would do? I would invest in, let's see, you're over in Toledo Bend. There's a really good trainer right there in your area over in Nacogdoches, Gary Howe, Paul Howe. I would go to his school, and I would get some training there. What you put in there, and a few $100 cost you to do that, would come back to you many-fold in terms of both avoiding problems and doing the right thing in a self-defense situation. I would focus very little on the gear or the trigger, as long as it's a safe trigger, not a super light trigger. You don't need a light trigger in a self-defense gun. But I would put my time and money into good training. And yeah, check out Paul Howe over in, pretty sure he's in Nacogdoches, not very far from you. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate the call. Gary, line 3, Bossier City. Hey, Gary, what's up?
How you doing, Tom? I was at one of the local sporting goods stores today, and I was looking for my friend. He wants a 308. We were looking at the Remington 700 line, and I asked the gentleman to look at one of them, and he did not have any of them because he said that the Group 700 series has been recalled due to triggers that may release without any human intervention.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with this recall? I did not know about
it. It's been widely publicized. All you got to do is put in a Google search for Remington 700 recall, and you will get gazillions of hits on it. However, having said that, I love Remington 700 rifles. I think they are great rifles. This is a very easy situation to correct. Our good friends at Timney make really good triggers for the 700. Buy an aftermarket trigger and throw it in there. Worry no more. Just keep on trucking.
Okay.
That's what I would. That's not only that's what I would do. That's what I have done. I've had both. I've had Canjars, Timneys, and Jewel triggers in my 700s for the last 35 or 40 years. So
well, that, I mean, hiding under a rock then. just check it out. But that's what I would do. I would not avoid those rifles. I would just understand that for me, this is just me talking now, I would get one and I would put a good aftermarket trigger in it right now. If it worries you, if the whole 700 trigger thing worries you, and look, get informed on it. Like I say, do a search, do a web search. Remington 700 recall, Remington 700 trigger. You will find lots and lots of stories. Some of them were kind of hit pieces done by TV shows, supposed news shows. But on the other hand, there have been some situations where, the guns have gone off when the safety was pushed off, not when the trigger was pulled. Me, I just go call the folks at Timney. They make great triggers. They drop right in, piece of cake, good to go. Besides, get a little bit of an upgrade on the trigger pull. Always a good thing. 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham. Be right back with more Gun Talk.
Tom Gresham's Gun Talk is broadcast nationwide every Sunday. If you can't hear Gun Talk where you live, call your local talk format station and clue them in on Gun Talk. Stay tuned. We're coming right back. Now broadcasting nationwide on radio, via satellite, and through downloads, iTunes, the Gun Talk app, and other podcast clients. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, straight to the phones here. Stephen's joining us out of Kathleen, Georgia on 4. Stephen, you got a range report for us?
Yes, sir, I do. I bought a new rifle, and I'm not terribly good with rifles. I've never messed with them very much.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a friend of mine that is very good with rifles. And I asked him to help me sight in the scope.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching him. He took my rifle and was putting 3 rounds in the same hole.
Okay.
And I asked him just kind of offhand, how in the world did you get so good? And he says, well, I was in Vietnam, and I did long-range shooting. And I said, a sniper? He says, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just amazed. I did not know that about him.
Yeah.
But he was. Now, this man is 67 years old, and at 100 yards, he's putting 3 bullets in the same hole.
Okay.
It's just amazing.
All right. So what's this about an air gun?
He was helping me sight in an air gun that I bought. Okay. I bought it for pest control around my home.
Right. Which one'd you get?
I got the Gammo Bone Collector in the .22 caliber.
Okay.
And it's a squirrel getter, that's for sure.
I guarantee it. That's got the built-in suppressor on it.
Yes.
Makes it quieter.
Yes. And
that is one slick rig.
Now, obviously he was not sighting it in at 100 yards. He was sighting it in at 20 yards. But
right.
He pulled out a 17 caliber for the 100-yard shoots.
Holy cow. Well, how are you liking shooting that air gun?
I like it. It's a little hard to cock, but it does a real good job. And
I'm looking at the specs on it.
Real cheap.
It looks like 975 feet per second with a 22 caliber pellet. That is pretty much right at 22 long rifle velocity.
Yes, that's with a real light pellet.
Yes, of course, it had to be a light to go that fast. As you go heavier, they're going to slow down, but still,
right.
That would be a squirrel and varmint getter for the backyard or wherever you want to go.
It is, believe me.
And they're accurate. That's the other. They're just stone cold accurate.
Yes. And I put a fairly good scope on it, and like I said, I've never shot rifles much, but I can definitely control pests with it around here.
Well, good deal. Steve, look, thank you for the report. Thank you for the call, sir. It gives me a chance to pump up the whole idea of air guns. If you want to get more trigger time in, if you want to shoot more and you can't get to the range, and for a lot of us, we can find someplace inside the house, a hallway in a basement, something, garage where we could shoot air guns, and you can shoot hundreds and thousands of rounds, lots of trigger pulls, and fine-tune everything without noise, without recoil. Please, 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 please do wear eye protection when you're shooting your air guns. I don't care what it is. If it shoots a projectile, wear eye protection. Line 1, Tim, Carson City, Nevada. Got a range report for us. Hey, Tim.
I sure do. Hey, Tom. Hey, you know what? On Friday, I had a real hard day at the office there, and I thought, what better way to blow off some steam than to go try out my new AR-15 made by Armalite. They call it the M15. It's chambered in .223 Wild. And I had a great online deal. It was unbeatable. I had to buy it. Came with a nice scope outfit on it. Had a bore sight at a local shop here, and took it literally from there out to the range. And I was astonished at how accurate that was. At first I tried it at 50 yards, and I was literally destroying. I was firing the American Eagle 5.56 NATO rounds, the 62 grain. That's coming in at 3,020 feet per second out of the muzzle, and literally destroying my other steel target that I had, and then I just popped it out to 100 yards, and I was someone had left a bunch of red clay birds out there in the 100-yard bank, and I was just dusting those. I mean, I've never been able to shoot that well before. I didn't have any bipod or anything. I'm just shooting it, holding it against the post there for some stability with the sling wrapped around me. But I have never been able to shoot that well. I mean, just right off the bat, I was flabbergasted. And I'll tell you what I think.
Hey, Tim, is this your first AR?
No.
Okay.
No, I have a couple SIG M400s.
Okay.
But this is the first one that I've used with a scope, though. I've always been an iron sights guy. So that's the big diff, and I really think that in coming months, a lot of coyotes are going to be going to a better place.
Well, look, I appreciate the range report. That is good info. Thank you, sir. I do want to get Ray in here from the Bronx on line 2. Hey, Ray.
Hey, Tom. While we're still celebrating the Palmer decision, which a lot of people are still celebrating, I see, I had a question about since SAF is probably the most effective force we have in the courts, unless I'm mistaken.
I think you're right.
What about the possibility of taking on one of the very small but very restrictive states, like, let's say, Rhode Island, which is a microcosm of California, of New Jersey, of New York City, and where they have an on-paper CCW, but in practice you need letters from multiple deities before they'll even look at your application.
Right.
And my idea is to apply the same concept that was used to strike down literacy tests and poll taxes, which is denial of rights under color of law. And if they can get the right plaintiffs and the right case in there, and a broad enough decision, maybe on at least beyond the reasonable standard, let's say a rational standard, let's say get to strict scrutiny or intermediate scrutiny. What would be the chance of getting a decision through there if it was done and applying it to other states?
I think they're already ahead of you. I think they're working on that. Of course, the cases that they have working in California may be all we need. the issue is, and I gather that Washington, D.C. has decided to appeal, which we figured they would. These are going to end up having to go to the Supreme Court. That's the game here. That is the plan. From the very beginning, the plan was no matter who won, who lost, we're going to drive this thing to the Supreme Court. I love that in the D.C., the judge says there is no level of scrutiny that this gun ban can stand under. That is, this is unconstitutional no matter how you look at it, no matter how you twist it, no matter what you do to it. A ban on the carrying of guns is simply unconstitutional. So what you're saying is, in some places you have, on paper, it's legal, but in reality it's not happening unless you happen to know the right person. And I think it's possible to go after those. And I love the whole idea of using the deprivation of rights under color of law, if that can happen. But you know what? That's not for me to decide. That's for the brilliant people like Alan Gura who can work those things out. And listen, I appreciate the call, Ray. Got to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more gun talk.
TopGunSupply.com carries a large selection of fine firearms and accessories. Get all the parts you need for your Sig Sauer, HK, and Glock pistols. Grips, screws, recoil springs, sights, barrels, magazines, holsters. The list goes on. Our knowledgeable sales staff, professional service, great prices, and super fast shipping are here to help you. Check us out today. TopGunSupply.com. TopGunSupply.com.
Tired of paying for one concealed carry holster after another that's flimsy, hard to hide, or just plain uncomfortable? Alien Gear holsters feature a super stealthy and ultra comfortable design. Our professional quality holsters are backed by an ironclad triple guarantee, including a free 30-day test drive, free shell trades for life, and a forever warranty. Starting at just $29.88, you won't find a better quality or better priced holster on the planet. Any planet. Go to aliengearholsters.com to get yours now.
No matter what gun you have, you want it to hit harder, shoot faster and flatter, and be more accurate. You get all that with the ammunition from Double Tap. Double Tap's experts select the best bullets, then load them to higher velocities while keeping safe pressures. Shoot small groups. Shoot farther. Use custom hunting loads in your handgun or rifle. Even fire 2 projectiles with one shot. DoubleTapAmmo.com. That's DoubleTapAmmo.com.
You know the name Walther is a legendary brand, but do you know the new Walther? The new Walther has introduced 3 new precision handguns. The smooth PPQ M2 is a breakthrough in ergonomics and trigger pull. The tough PPX is a workhorse at a value price. The cool, iconic PPK S22 blends classic PPK with the fun of the economical 22 LR. There is a lot going on at the new Walther. Visit us at WaltherArms.com. Walther, at your favorite retailer.
Coming up, the whole crew chimes in an on-topic, off-topic free-for-all. Be sure and stick around for the Gun Talk After Show.
All righty, lots of stuff going on. We're going to be talking to the after show. I'll tell you what, our staff and all, they're all up in Toledo, Ohio, where they're under, it's not just a boil order. You can't boil the water. You can't have water. The restaurants are closed. There's no water available. They have to go into the stores and buy it. Fist fights breaking out there. It's pretty much craziness. We've got 400 to 500,000 people without water, and it's nutso. We're going to get their take on what's going on there. And once again, we get to talk about being prepared. How prepared are you? Not just guns, everything. Lights, locks, water, food. Do you have enough food in your house today to live for 30 days? It's easy. I was at Sam's Club yesterday. They're selling pre-packaged food, prepper-type food. By the way, when I was at Sam's Club, I mentioned earlier we were talking about wearing eye protection. I bought 2 little cases. Each of them had 6 sets of shooting glasses, safety glasses in them. $12. Come on, $2 a piece. How can you not have shooting glasses, safety glasses? $2 a piece. And I bought 12 shooting glasses for students, for people we shoot with, for camera guys when we're shooting our TV shows, whatever. Hand them out. I don't care if they come back. It's no big deal. It's $2. Don't pull a trigger without wearing glasses. Ever. Period.
If you get there and you don't have any, buy some. If you get there and you can't find any, go back and find some somewhere. Go to a Home Depot, go to a store, buy some from a safe. They've got them at hardware stores every other place. Get them. Keep a pair in your car, in your glove compartment, in your truck, wherever. It's that important. All it has to happen is one time, okay? Let's see, line 3, Nikki's with us out of Oklahoma. Hello, Nikki.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You doing some long-range shooting?
Well, I'm working on it.
Okay. What caliber are you shooting?
Well, I've got 2 6.5 Norma and 338 Win Mag.
Okay.
And how do you? I've got Match King Sierras and Nosler Customs. I got some bullets, 30 caliber and 6.5s, and both of them. And are in the process of getting some, and I got to thinking, well, I'll call you and ask you, when you're shooting long range, and my other contention is also shoot a 6.8 SPC, and what I was trying to find out is, when you're shooting long range, are you better off with a light, medium, or heavy?
You're better off with the highest ballistic coefficient you can find. That's the number you're looking for. The BC is everything. Now we're talking about target shooting, not hunting, right?
Did you say Baker Charlie, BC?
Yes, sir. Bravo Charlie, the ballistic coefficient. That's the number, and it should be like a 0.527, a 0.582, even 6 something. The higher the number, the higher the ballistic coefficient, the less it will drop, and much, much, much more importantly, the less it is affected by wind. Because wind is everything.
Okay.
What are you not hunting? You're just doing target shooting?
Well, I do some hunting and stuff, but I look at it this way. If it's going to work at 1,000 yards, it'll work at 100 yards.
But where I'm going with this is there are certain bullets you would use for target hunting that are not designed to expand on game. They're very accurate. Berger, for instance, is a brand that makes very good target bullets. Some Sierra bullets are very good target bullets. Their Match King bullets are excellent, but I would never, ever want somebody to use those for hunting because they're just not designed for that.
Even though they're hollow points, they don't necessarily expand as much.
That is correct. Just being a hollow point does not make it a hunting bullet at all.
Right.
So you want to make sure if you're going to use it for hunting that it's designed for hunting. The Nosler Accubon long-range bullets, they've got a 129-grain 6.5 bullet that is phenomenal. And there are other bullets like that out there. They've got 30 caliber bullets you might want to look at in Accubon long range. But I would say the thing to do is you got to just go ahead and get started. If you're hand loading, you're looking for bullets with a high ballistic coefficient. That is going to be the key. And then, of course, they've got to be accurate in your gun. And you try different ones, and you find the ones that are very accurate in your rifle. But the overall thing is to find, and you'll find that to get a high ballistic coefficient, generally speaking, they're going to be a little bit heavier. Like a 30 caliber, they're going to be up in the 175 to 200 grain range to get the kind of ballistic coefficient you're looking for. So, and also, you know what? When you go to a match, talk to other people, ask them what they're using. Talk to them. They're happy to help you. They really are. So that'll work for you. I appreciate the call. Real quickly, Dave, Portland, Oregon. Dave on line 4. Dave, I got 1 minute for you. Go fast.
Okay, fast. Daughter and husband are taking a road trip. They have an Oregon concealed carry. They're afraid to take their guns with them. They're afraid they're going to get a felony because they have them. I say you can have your guns, have them where you can see them, and don't have the mags in them. What do you say, sir?
If they have their carry permits, they need to go to a website called handgunlaw.us. Again, handgunlaw.us. It will tell them where their Oregon permits are honored. And then if you're in a state where your permit is not honored, you better check the regs there. In some states, you're legal to have a loaded gun in the car. In some, it must be unloaded and locked up in a case. It just depends. Handgunlaw.us is my go-to place for information like that, where I want to know if there's reciprocity, if I can carry it. It'll work for you.
Join the NRA via Tom Gresham's Gun Talk website and receive $10 off the regular membership price. Log on to guntalk.com for details. You're listening to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. Just because we're wrapping up on the air doesn't mean we're done talking about guns. Stick around for the after show. It's our podcast-only version designed to include all the stuff we simply couldn't fit into a regular show. Call in now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, back to Tom.
Had to go to the commercial pretty quickly when we had Dave on last hour or last segment. He's from Oregon. His family's members are taking a road trip going, where are they going to? Missouri and back from Oregon. And so I checked handgunlaw.us. Here's the deal. An Oregon permit is good in Idaho, not good in Wyoming as you go across, but Wyoming has open carry. So just put it on your belt and open carry it. When you get to Nebraska or Kansas, your Oregon permit's good, and your Oregon permit is good in Missouri. So as they drive across from Oregon to Missouri, Wyoming and Colorado do not honor the Oregon permit, but if they'll make sure they stay in Wyoming, then they can open carry there. Colorado, I did not check on, but I don't think they can open carry there. So, but anyway, like I say, handgunlaw.us is my go-to place for that. Let's go to line 2, where Ed is with us out of Georgia. Hello, Ed. Got some ammo?
Yeah, I was just wondering. I heard you talk earlier about storing your ammo, and I just wondered, what is proper temperature for storing your ammo?
I kind of have this weird idea about how to store ammo. I figure if it's comfortable for you, it's comfortable for ammo. So if it's cold is not an issue, but hot is not good for ammo. Hot being like in the attic or out in the storage room, and you're in Georgia, you know, it gets hot. And also humidity is not great for ammo. So if you'll keep it inside where it's air conditioned, ammo ought to last 50 years. Shouldn't be a problem.
Well, that's what I was hoping you'd say. Thank you so much.
All right. Appreciate that. Might as well get Russell in here out of Wichita, Kansas on line 3. Russell, you got an idea what something I ought to do, huh?
Yes. I was listening to you last week, and you were talking about having a sea camp pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I saw this thing on the TV show Top Shot,
mm-hmm.
in which they pitched a pop can out a few feet in front of them, and they were hitting it before it hit the ground. And I thought, that looks kind of interesting. And what you do is you hold your pistol down at your side below your waist,
mm-hmm.
and take your other hand and pitch the can out to where it does not go more than like 10 feet away and
mm-hmm.
does not go any higher than your shoulders.
Okay.
And you would be surprised how fast you can hit that can before it hits the ground.
I do that all the time, but I use garbage cans.
I'm talking about pop cans.
Wait, hey, come on. Actually, I got to where I could hit quarters pretty regularly with a BB gun or 22, throwing them up when I was a kid. We trained with BB guns where you could see the BB, but have not done it with a handgun. And my concern, of course, and you kind of pointed out, keeping it level, would be where do the bullets go when they miss. And so you'd have to be in an area. Yeah, we can't do a lot of that stuff now that we used to do. When I was a kid, we shot 22s up in the air and stuff that we can't really do. Hence the larger can, exactly right. People say, well, you should throw up a quarter. How about if I throw up the lid for a metal garbage can? I might be able to hit that one. Actually, if you get a chance to shoot BB guns that have low power where you can see the BB, you'd be amazed how quickly you can start hitting things. Throwing up soda cans, quarters, you'll hit them, I guarantee you. Hey, if you want to call in right now, you can. You can be part of our after show. 866-TALK-GUN. Get you in here, 866-TALK-GUN. We'll go off the rails. We'll go pretty much any direction, even not about guns. You never know what we're going to say of this thing. And by all means, you want to go pick it up. Go to iTunes or our website, guntalk.com, and check that out. All right, don't forget, sign up for Twitter. I'm at Gun Talk there. That is your gun news feed. Have a safe week. Go out and pull the trigger.